نحمد ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد بسم الله. Today inshallah we will start from verse number 61 of Surah Ghafir. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الله الذي جعل لكم الليل لتسكنوا فيه والنهار مبصرا إن الله لذو فضل على الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. It is Allah who made for you the night that you may rest therein, and the day giving sight. Indeed, Allah is full of bounty to the people, but most of the people are not grateful. So litaskunu means litartahu, so that you can rest. And mubsiran meaning mudiyan, bright. So night and day are a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The darkness of the night is conducive to rest, and then the brightness of the day allows us to find our livelihood. And it is amazing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has programmed us as a self-healing and recharging machine. So if you think about what our body goes through during the day, it goes through effort and leads to tiring of the body. At the same time, sunlight synthesizes, our bone and improves our nerve and muscle function. So there is activity happening on all aspects. We are spending our energy at the same time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mechanisms in the environment that build our body. And then at night, we go through a resting period through sleep. And our breathing pattern changes, our heart rate changes. So same thing happens for our brain activity. It also goes through a change. And in short, by going through a sleep, we are ready physically and mentally for the next day. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has regulated our day-to-day routine such that we are healed through our sleep and then we are ready for the next day. Subhanallah, imagine we are completely unaware of these systems that work behind the scenes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put within our own body, and they help us go through our day and night. Allahu Akbar. In the second part of the verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allaha ladhu fadlin ala nasi walakin akthara nasi la yashkurun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says how people are ungrateful to all the blessings He has bestowed upon them. And if you think about this, we take many things for granted and do not even contemplate the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let alone thank Him. And this could be just one example where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the day and night itself are a blessing, let alone whatever else happens in our life on a daily basis. And yet we do not appreciate it. ذلكم الله ربكم خالق كل شيء لا إله إلا هو فأنا تؤفكون. That is Allah, your Lord, creator of all things. There is no deity except Him. So how deluded are you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us of His unique power to create things which is not manifested by any other deity worshipped by people. So there's not a single being that could create anything out of nothing, and that is the unique power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then He ends this verse in the question فَأَنَّا تُؤْفَكُونَ, meaning كَيْفَ تُصْرَفُونَ عَنْ تَوْحِيدِهِ, how come you turn away from accepting Allah's oneness when you can clearly see He's the only one which has the power of creation. كذلك يؤفك الذين كانوا بآيات الله يجحدون. Thus were those before you deluded who were rejecting the signs of Allah. And all people who reject Allah's oneness, including Quraysh at the time of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and nations before the time of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and even disbelievers who worship other false gods and idols in our time, all of these people, they are deluded by ignorance and desires. So they are disputing clear signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how misguided are those? How can you really deny accepting the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الله الذي جعل لكم الأرض قرارا والسماء بناء وصوركم فأحسن صوركم ورزقكم من الطيبات ذلكم الله ربكم فتبارك الله رب العالمين هو الحي لا إله إلا هو فادعوه مخلصين له الدين الحمد لله رب العالمين. It is Allah who made for you the earth a place of settlement, in the sky a ceiling, and formed you and perfected your forms, and provided you with good things. That is Allah your Lord. Then blessed is Allah, Lord of the worlds. He is the ever-living. There is no deity except Him. So call upon Him, being sincere to Him in religion. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to mention His other blessings like the earth and the sky, and the provision for humans, and even the creation of humans in the best form among all the other creations. He is the ever-living without any beginning and end. Indeed, no one else is worthy of praise and worship except Him. And there is a command in this verse, فَادْعُوهُ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. Call Him, worship Him, adopt His religion, the religion of Islam, with sincerity and devotion. قل إني نهيت أن أعبد الذين تدعون من دون الله لما جاءني البينات من ربي وأمرت أن أسلم لرب العالمين. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, indeed I have been forbidden to worship those you call upon beside Allah once the clear proofs have come to me from my Lord, and I have been commanded to submit to the Lord of the worlds. So an uslima meaning an ukhlisa dini, that I be sincere in my religion. So that is what I have been commanded, that I be sincere in my religion. So in this verse, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is ordered to declare his faith and be assertive, confident in rejecting other deities. And that confidence comes from clear proofs that he had received in the form of Quran and the divine guidance. And the same applies to us. We have also received the true guidance and signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And those are in the form of the Quran and His blessed Sunnah. So we should also be confident in our assertion of Islam. And we are to also reject any form of shirk and to remain steadfast on the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, accepting His deen. هو الذي خلقكم من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم من علقة ثم يخرجكم طفلا ثم لتبلغوا أشدكم ثم لتكونوا شيوخا ومنكم من يتوفى من قبل وَلِتَبْلُغُوا أَجَلًا مُّسَمًّى وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. It is He who created you from dust, then from a sperm drop, then from a clinging clot. Then He brings you out as a child. Then He develops you that you reach your time of maturity. Then further that you become older. And among you is He who is taken in death before that, so that you reach a specified term. And perhaps you would use reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the creation and stages of man in this verse. So the very first time Adam alayhi salam was created out of dust, خَلَقَكُم مِّن تُرَابٍ. Then the continuity of human generation depends on a sperm drop, ثُمَّ مِن نُطْفَةٍ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the embryonic stages in mother's wombs, ثُمَّ مِن عَلَقَةٍ. Then the delivery of a child, ثُمَّ يُخْرِجُكُم طِفْلًا. Then the next stage is reaching adulthood with maturity and strength. ثُمَّ لِتَبْلُغُوا أَشُدَّكُمْ. And then the old age. ثُمَّ لِتَكُونُوا شُيُوخًا. So the last stage of all this journey of a man from birth is death. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points towards the fact that not everyone reaches old age prior to reaching death. Some never see this world and die in mother's wombs due to miscarriages. Some pass away in childhood, and yet others die as adults. وَمِنْكُم مَّن يُتَوَفَّى مِن قَبْلُ. But the time of death is not a random event that happens to different people at different times. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us how our term on earth is predetermined and fixed. وَلِتَبْلُغُوا أَجَلًا مُسَمًّى. And after mentioning the first creation and all the stages of life until death, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sets His expectation of us. Perhaps you will learn a lesson from this observation. Perhaps you realize the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to resurrect in the hereafter. So if He can create you from dust, from a drop of semen, and then take you through all the stages within the mother's wombs, then get you out of there into this world, again, progressively develop you through childhood to maturity, and then to an old age. So within our own life, we see how we start as a weak being, gain strength, and then He takes us back to being weak in our old age, and then the final outcome, the death. If He can do all of this, then why can He not create us again in the hereafter? Something to also notice and reflect in this verse is وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُتَوَفَّى مِنْ قَبْلِ. So different people die at different ages. And this is something that we sometimes forget in our own lives. There is this idea of becoming more religious towards the end of your life, towards the later stages of your life. And yet we don't even know whether we reach that stage or not. Some people have this misconception of we'll be pious after we do such and such thing, after we do Hajj. We'll grow our beard, as an example. We'll follow the Sunnah after we return from Hajj, or different imagined milestones in life, and yet don't even know whether they would reach, don't even know we would reach that milestone. So, point of reflection for us, it begins today for us to change. It begins today for us to follow the religion and not wait until a time comes when we don't have any hope to recover from it and our time is up. وَالَّذِي يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ فَإِذَا قَضَى أَمْرًا فَإِنَّمَا يَقُولُ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. He it is who gives life and causes death, and when He decrees a matter, He but says to it, be, and it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only being that can give life and death. How many couples you see wanting children, but even after trying all avenues, including fertility clinics, they remain unsuccessful. Similarly, how many cases you hear about people in the best of their health, like athletes, and yet they are struck with sudden death. Or people diagnosed with cancer, yet they remain alive much longer than others. Life and death is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The authority, the control, the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so complete that once He decrees a matter, once He decides on something, it is bound to happen, whether the physical means exist or not. The life of prophets is full of such events, like the cooling of fire for Ibrahim alayhis salam, and replacing Ismail alayhis salam with a ram, and taking Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Mi'raj. All these events are beyond the physical understanding that we have of this world. And this doesn't stop at prophets, this show of power. But even for ordinary people, we see events and situations occur that are implausible, like recovery from a terminal disease or escape from a high-speed car crash on a highway. All these examples are around us where something that was impossible, linked to life and death, occurred just because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed it. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says for something kun, it happens, fayakun. Let's review verses 61 to 68. The cycle of day and night is a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and has within it a recharging for us that we are ready for the next day after resting at night. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is worthy of worship since He is ever living. He is the one who gives life and death to others, and He is the one who can create out of nothing. Death is inevitable, and predetermined for each individual at a particular stage in life. So it is wise to prepare today, not knowing when you reach death. And Allah's decree is final. When He says something for it to be, it happens, whether there are physical means for it or not. ألم تر إلى الذين يجادلون في آيات الله أنى يصرفون الذين كذبوا بالكتاب وبما أرسلنا به رسلنا فسوف يعلمون. Do you not wonder at those who dispute concerning the signs of Allah? How are they averted? Those who deny the book and that with which we sent our messengers, they will come to know. So أنى يصرفون means كيف يعدلون عن الآيات مع صدقها وصحتها. How do they turn away from the signs that are true and sound? There's a stern warning in this verse for those who reject clear signs. فسوف يعلمون. So they will soon know. What will they know? فسوف يعلمون عقوبة تكذيبهم. They will soon know the punishment of their denial. And what are those punishments? Some examples will come in the next few verses. إذ الأغلال في أعناقهم والسلاسل يسحبون في الحميم ثم في النار يسجرون. When the shackles are around their necks and chains, they will be dragged in boiling water, then they will be burned in the fire. الأغلال means القيود تجمع الأيدي إلى الأعناق. So the iron collars that join hands to the neck, as you see for prisoners. And salasil means al-quyud fil arjul, so chains in the feet. And hamim is al-ma'u alladhi balagha ghayat al-hararati, so water that has reached extreme temperatures. And yusjaruna means yuqadu alayhim, ignited upon them. There will be severe punishment for those who reject clear signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will be chained like prisoners with their hands tied to their necks, and their feet will also be chained. They'll be humiliated, dragged in boiling water, and burnt in hellfire. And then they will be interrogated, as it comes in next few verses. ثُمَّ قِيلَ لَهُمْ أَيْنَ مَا كُنْتُمْ تُشْرِكُونَ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ قَالُوا ضَلُّوا عَنَّا بَلْ لَمْ نَكُنْ نَدْعُو مِنْ قَبْلُ شَيْئًا كَذَلِكَ يُضِلُّ اللَّهُ الْكَافِرِينَ. Then it will be said to them, where is that which you used to associate with Him in worship, meaning with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in worship, other than Allah? They will say, they have departed from us. Rather, we did not used to invoke previously anything. Thus does Allah put astray the disbelievers. ضَلُّوا عَنَّا means غَابُوا عَنْ عُيُونِنَا, absent from our sight. So whatever people worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning idols and other false gods, they'll also be in hellfire, but not in sight of their followers. So when disbelievers don't find any support from these idols, and instead they face the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they begin to even deny their shirk and start making up lies. As it comes in Surah An'am, verse 23, قَالُوا وَاللَّهِ رَبِّنَا مَا كُنَّا مُشْرِكِينَ. So they will say, by Allah, our Lord, all of a sudden they're declaring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as their Lord. We were not those who joined others in worship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that will be the behavior of those who were mushrik, and then they don't find any support. They started to deny even the fact that they used to associate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And towards the end of the verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كَذَلِكَ يُضِلُّ اللَّهُ الْكَافِرِينَ. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala astrays kafirin. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that He misguides those who deny. When a person denies clear signs and guidance persistently, he no longer gets a tawfiq or opportunity from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to find the path to salvation. And this state is an outcome of his own actions. It is not injustice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This comes in Surah Ahqaf, verse number 5. وَمَنْ أَضَلُّ مِمَّنْ يَدْعُو مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ مَنْ لَا يَسْتَجِيبُ لَهُ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. And who is more astray than those who invoke beside Allah others who will not answer them until the day of resurrection. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is already clearly outlining in His book, in the Quran, what is the path to guidance and what is the path to misguidance. And He's declaring people who are invoking others beside Allah as misguided. Who can be more astray than those? So when here it comes, كَذَلْكَ يُضِلُّ اللَّهُ الْكَافِرِينَ, this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala misguides kafirin. Well, that is because they did not accept the truth. They did not accept the guidance that came to them. And now there is no out for them. They will remain in their darkness of misguidance. ذَلِكُمْ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَفْرَحُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ وَبِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَمْرَحُونَ. The angels will say, that was because you used to be jubilant, you used to exult upon the earth without right, and that you used to rejoice extremely. So there are two words we should focus in this verse. Fariha, maraha. Fariha means to be happy. And being happy can be desirable, or it can be reproachable or detestable. So if you are showing happiness on the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is virtuous and mustahab as an expression of gratitude. But if someone is joyful upon committing sin, now that is detestable and sinful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clarifies which type of joy is intended in this verse by saying, تُفْرَحُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ. You used to be happy on wrongful acts. That was your sin. That's the reason for your punishment in hellfire. And then the second word, maraha, means to be boastful, to brag about something, and to show pride and arrogance in your attitude, in your behavior. And this characteristic is blameworthy and sinful. As it comes in Surah Isra, verse 37, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا إِنَّكَ لَن تَخْرِقَ الْأَرْضَ وَلَن تَبْلُغَ الْجِبَالَ طُولًا. Do not strut about in the land arrogantly. Do not walk on land arrogantly. Surely you cannot tear the earth, nor can you reach the heights of the mountains in stature. So the state of maraha is sinful, is blameworthy. And that was another reason why these people are being punished in hellfire. And again, like every verse, we should reflect on our own behavior. This was specific to what angels were asking these people in hellfire, but the message is clear. Are we being happy on things that are wrong? Is that where we find our joy? Are we boastful about our sins? Are we proud of the wealth or the status we have that leads us to committing injustice? All those things are reproachable. And the first step is to retrospect. You keep yourself in check. And if you find yourself in this state, of course, do tawbah and change your behavior. ادخلوا أبواب جهنم خالدين فيها فبئس مثوى المتكبرين. Enter the gates of hell to abide eternally therein, and wretched is the residence of the arrogant. So let's review verses 69 to 76. Severe punishment will be in the hereafter for those who deny clear signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No support from idols and false gods will avail those who worship them. And arrogance and seeking pleasure in wrongful acts are reasons for punishment and hellfire. We'll stop here inshallah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم.